Wow, Kotaku, talk about jumping the gun, talk about looking for trouble where there is none, talk about grasping at straws. So in case you haven't heard, there's this controversy right now surrounding a Kotaku UK article about Persona 5. The game's recently been getting a lot of attention because Joker, the protagonist from that game, has made it into Super Smash Bros. As part of the game's DLC. Most people are celebrating this awesome crossover. A lot of people love how Joker plays, but Kotaku UK decided to spend some time finding ways to demonize Persona 5. The following information comes from this article by author Laura Kate Dale titled Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's Persona 5 DLC includes a disability slur. The article begins by talking about how Super Smash Bros. Got the 3.0 update and how the DLC Pack 1 got released, which includes Joker, the Memento stage, as well as various soundtracks from the Persona series. But things quickly take a turn for the worse when the article says, quote, part of the DLC Pack's edition includes a number of Persona music tracks, which can be listened to in full outside of battle. However, one of these tracks caught our attention for all the wrong reasons. In the track Wake Up, Get Out There, if you skip to around 1 minute and 48 seconds into the track, you'll reach a section of the song where words are softly spoken rather than sung. At around 1 minute and 58 seconds, it appears the term retarded is used, and followed up by the assertion that I can say it. The official lyrics for the song, curiously enough, does not include this spoken word section. This is our transcription of what's said. I'm gonna pull up the soundtrack real quick. You can take a listen for yourself and see what you think. So on one hand, I can kind of hear how the word might sound like retarded, but just because it sounds like that doesn't necessarily mean that's what it is. I'll get back to that later though. Let's first talk about the rest of the article. The article proceeds by explaining what retarded means, how it's a slur used against people with mental disabilities, how it's used to diminish people with mental health conditions, and how the word is widely accepted as a term that shouldn't be used. It then concludes with an admonishment towards Nintendo that reads, quote, needless to say, this does not exactly fit Nintendo's family-friendly image, nor seem an especially appropriate inclusion in a game with a 12 rating, or indeed any game, as well as that odd detail of the official lyrics not including this section of the song. It's also the case that another version of this theme, which features in Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight, removes this section entirely. So one thing to keep in mind is that Persona soundtrack is sung by folks who are native to Japan, so their English isn't necessarily perfect. Some words may not be properly pronounced, so in this case, a word that sounds like retarded could be any number of things in the English vocabulary. Like if you listen to Whims of Fate from Persona 5 without subtitles to tell you what the lyrics are, it's a bit hard to make out the words. It's only after you add the lyrics that you can kind of understand what's being said. And this isn't meant to be a jab at the singer. I think she's awesome. The song is awesome. I'm just trying to make the point that lyrics not sung by native English speakers could be misconstrued. Not to mention that because of just the way your brain works, there are times when it can play tricks on you when you're listening to lyrics. This is why there are times when you play a song in reverse, you might hear certain lyrics based on what other people present to you. There are plenty of videos out there in which people put in their own lyrics that kind of match what they're saying and it sounds legit. So yeah, the brain can play tricks on you when it comes to listening to music, and it seems pretty likely that something similar might have happened with this Kotaku author and with Kotaku's interpretation of the Persona 5 song here. Instead of the word retarded, it could be other things. People have suggested that the lyric could actually be saying retort it, as in respond to it, or retard it, as in the musical term retardando, which describes slowing down the tempo. It's hard for anyone to really say for sure, but any of these suggestions honestly make way more sense than the lyrics including out of nowhere the word retarded. That word just doesn't fit in the song based on its context. Now, something else that Laura points to as suspicious is the fact that if you look up the lyrics for the song in question, the portion in which the word retarded seems to be said, that portion isn't included in the official lyrics. So the implication there is that Atlas might be aware that the word retarded is used, that it might cause controversy, so they excluded it from the official lyrics to hide the fact that they used this derogatory word. The implication is that there's some subterfuge involved here where they're trying to get away with using the word retarded without anyone noticing. But as fans have pointed out, the real reason this bit is likely not in the official lyrics is because this part might have been improvised. People pointed out that if you look at live concerts of this song, the original singer, when this bit comes up, she'll start like scatting and improvising bits, and it's kind of different every time. So she might have been saying something off the cuff during the recording of the official song, and we might not find out exactly what she meant. And yeah, it does kind of sound like the word retarded. You can kind of hear it, but to post this entire article sort of slandering the game and making declarations and accusations that there is ill intent involved without any real clarity is just woefully inappropriate and unprofessional. It doesn't just end there though. The following day after the original article, Kotaku UK's Rich Stanton released a follow-up article in which he admitted that they screwed up. This article began by stating that it was Kotaku readers who initially contacted them about the possibility that this derogatory word might be being used in the Persona 5 soundtrack. Then the article admitted that while they had contacted Atlus and Nintendo about this, they published the article before they had a chance to respond. Kotaku asked them, is the word retarded being used in the lyrics here? But before they even got a response, they just pushed the article out. And in this article, they essentially declared that the word retarded was used without actually making sure. And when Nintendo did eventually respond, here's what they had to say to Kotaku. We checked with Atlus, who confirmed that the actual lyrics of the song do not include the word retarded. Now, instead of leaving it at that, the article proceeded by saying, frustratingly, this does not clear up the confusion over what the singer is actually saying. Yeah, okay, you want to know what's even more frustrating? You guys over at Kotaku UK rushing to publish an article debasing a game and a company without doing due diligence. They talk about confusion, but the only one causing needless confusion is Kotaku UK with this non-story of an article. Moving on, the follow-up article then finally apologized to Nintendo, Atlus, and Persona fans. They admitted that they screwed up, but the overall unapologetic tone of the article is making it difficult for people to sympathize with them. And it doesn't help matters that Kotaku UK seems to be making rather weak excuses for why they won't delete the original misinformed article. Now, they did say they've updated the article with an additional excerpt, but that doesn't come across right now because, according to them, there is back-end maintenance on their site going on right now. So yeah, it's been 2 days since Laura's original article was released, and it's still up there last time I checked, and there's no difference. It's still exactly the same as it was when it was first published. As for why Kotaku UK won't delete the article, they said this: Kotaku UK does not delete articles. On the internet, what would be the point anyway? We admit our mistakes, own them, and update the original to reflect new information. The original article has now been updated, but as we say, it may take a while before it shows. What would be the point, you ask? Well, how about mitigating the misinformation you've been spreading? How about taking responsibility for your mistake? How about just, doing due diligence? If the article cannot be updated promptly due to technical issues, then frickin' delete it so that people can't find it and get the wrong idea about Persona 5, this idea that you guys have spread by mistake. Because right now, people are getting the sense that Kotaku is simply keeping this article because they know it's drawing a lot of attention. They're getting a lot of clicks off of it, which bolsters ad revenue and all that. Now, there is additional context that Laura K. Dale, the author of the original article, provided on Twitter. Here's how she responded responded to the situation. I'm still not sure what the lyric says. Our mistake was to put the article live in a form where it sounded certain of our interpretation, when we should have waited for comment back and tailor the piece to reflect people's confusion rather than being definitive about it. Waiting for a response to the comment would have allowed us more room to ask follow-up questions, try to get to the bottom of this mystery lyric. The mistake here was in rushing to publication rather than sitting on it for a while. That is not lost on me. Lessons were learned. I will be taking the rest of this long weekend away from social media. I wish I could have responded to this sooner. I am terribly sorry for this whole situation. Believe me, I did not want to sit there silent while being flooded with understandable criticism. She then explained her side of things in regards to why that original article wasn't being deleted, stating, quote, "To be clear, only my boss can delete it and he won't. I wanted to apologize sooner, but was not allowed to. I did not want that story live with certain wording or pre-responses." Expanding upon that, Laura added this, "To be clear, I have issued an apology. My boss posted a draft before I heard back from Atlas and refuses to delete. I'm terribly sorry. Work social media policy prevented me responding earlier. Trust me, the last day has been miserable. I am so sorry." Similar sentiments were expressed in this other tweet that's now been deleted. Apparently, Kotaku bosses forced Laura to remove a tweet explaining that Kotaku pushed the article through despite Laura wanting to publish it only after doing her due diligence and getting a response from Atlas and Nintendo. So yeah, from the looks of it, if things were up to Laura, she would have handled this whole situation much more differently. It looks like it was the Kotaku UK higher-ups who decided to rush the article before it was ready to be published. It looks like it was Laura's boss who decided that they shouldn't delete the article even if Laura wanted to do that. Yeah, that right there is pretty shitty. Laura is trying to make right by her mistake, but the higher-ups are sort of preventing her from doing that. Now, Kotaku UK's Twitter page did post a preview of what the updated version of the article should look like. As of the publishing of this video, if you go to the article, it's exactly the same as it was when it was published, because apparently there is back-end maintenance going on. But once the update comes across, this is the excerpt that will be featured, which reads as follows. A lot of Persona fans are insisting the lyrics are retort it or retardando, a musical term. We have listened again and still don't quite hear it that way, but thought we'd update to allow that there may be an innocent explanation and we're simply dealing with an unfortunate sound-alike. We have asked various companies involved with Persona for clarification on these lyrics and will of course update again with any reply. This statement right here makes Kotaku UK sound pretty unapologetic. It gives off the sense that they're saying, look, you've pointed out that we fucked up, we don't quite see it that way, oh well, agree to disagree. The thing about this whole situation is that the backlash could be mitigated if they handled things more gracefully, if they apologized more properly, if they owned up to it. But instead they're being really defensive about all this, implying that they're not entirely wrong in publishing this article, and they're just not taking responsibility appropriately. They're giving bullshit excuses for not deleting this article that has no merit and stuff like that. Look, nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. I get that. I've made my own fair share, but it's how one takes responsibility for those mistakes that defines how sympathetic people might be towards you. And from where I'm sitting, the way Kotaku UK's been reacting to all this, the way they've been handling this situation, they're not inviting a lot of sympathy. These are one man's take on the situation anyway. I'd love to hear what your take is on Kotaku UK's article regarding Persona 5's soundtrack in the comments below. With that, I would like to end this news update and discussion video. Thank you for tuning in. To be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.